Good morning, Class 5. For GPS today, we're going to have a look at verb agreements, so using was and were in the correct way, and you're also going to be designing your own robot helper today and writing a description about it, so I'm very excited for today's lessons. So was and were are the past tenses of the verb to be, and you need to make sure that you are using the correct form of the verb for the subject of the sentence. So we're going to have a look at that in a bit more detail. So in the singular past form, the correct use of was and were. So if you are talking about one person, you use was. So I was happy living there. He was the best runner in the school. She was the first woman in space. It was unusual to see Emily crying. But if you're talking about more than one person, you would use were. So you were always kind to me, not you was. Okay? And again, so it's we were all poorly last week, not we was all poorly last week. You were brilliant. They were stuck on the bus, so it's not they was. So singular, I was, you were, he was, she was, it was. Plural, we were, you were, they were. So if you're talking to somebody else or about more than one person, you would use were. So you're going to have a practice. Okay, so complete the following sentences using was and were correctly. Julie knew that she was going to be last in the race, or Julie knew that she were going to be last in the race. I would like you to complete those, so you can pause the video whilst you complete those, and then we will go through the answers. Okay, well done if you said was. Julie knew that she was going to be last in the race. Noah told his mum he was not going to walk the dog. If I were in charge, I'd make the holidays longer. Now we're going to go through that one in a bit more detail shortly. I was really excited about visiting my new class. We were all looking forward to the party. Now C is different. If I were in charge, I'd make the holidays longer. That's called the subjunctive form, and we will have a look at that in a bit more detail. So were used in the past subjunctive. Now sometimes you will see I were, so for example in Beyonce's song If I Were a Boy, okay, and it's used when something's fantasy or hypothetical situations which are unlikely to happen. So if I were more confident, I would be an actor. I wish she weren't so lazy. Things like if I were a lottery winner, okay, it's unlikely, it's showing fantasy. If only it were the holidays already. He behaves as if he were the most important. So that's one that you just need to look out for. But don't worry too much because you will do a lot about the subjunctive form in year 6. Okay, so just a top tip then. In formal British English, the presence of the words if and wish are a clue that the past subjunctive form of the verb should be used. So if you see a sentence that has if or wish, so if I have a look here, if, wish, if, it's a clue that the subjunctive form should be used. Okay, so you can complete your task today and then we'll go on to English. So in English today, I would like you to design your own robot helper. So you can draw it. I would like you to annotate it as well. You need to think about all the fantastic things that it does. Do its arms do something spectacular? Does it have an antennae that can tell the future? Okay, what ideas do you have? So some pictures on the board there to help you if you're struggling to design it, but I know you're all very creative. Once you've designed it, you then need to write a description about it. Okay, so I've got a few sentence ideas here for you, and again I've used different sentence starters, similar to what we looked at yesterday. Like a crab, he has pincers that are orange on the end of his arms. I've got my adverbial phrase to describe there. I've also used parenthesis to explain more detail about the pincers. Luminous and vivid, his eyes are his most prominent feature. I've got my 2 adjective starter there. Because of his extraordinary technology, he is able to use his antennae to tell me when danger is approaching. Again, I've got my conjunction starter. I could also mention something about the buttons. If the buttons are pressed, what might happen? Okay, does something pop up on the screen of his body? So I would like you to write a description of the robot that you have designed today. I'm very, very excited to see some of these, so please make sure that you get them sent over to me, guys. Enjoy!